Uh, we're excited here to host Linda Miles, who I respect and admire a lot. For many years that I have been in dentistry as a CPA, and I've always admired what she's done in this space. I've loved her book, one of the first books I read when I started consulting the dentist, maybe 15, 17 years ago. And I had the pleasure of meeting her couple of years ago at the SCN in Santa Fe. And I was really delighted that she loved what I was doing in dentistry in terms of building a product that actually solves the need in real time, and it helps practices acquire more patients. Because as you guys all know, one of the biggest pain points that dentists face today is their front office, among other things, right? And if you don't know how to convert new patients into booked appointments, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. And Linda, in her testimonial video, said you could lose up to $8,000 a week. So I wanted to ask Linda a question about first impressions, and why do first impressions matter in dentistry or anything else in life? When you are out there, a patient finds you. Let's assume you show up on the first page of Google, and you have a wonderful company that you work with, and they find you and they decide to call you, which is it's a big deal. There's a lot of Linda, as you know, there's a lot of impediments that come in the way of a patient voluntarily calling a dentist, because again, if it's not hurting, nobody wants to call a dentist.
That's right.
And you really don't know something is going wrong until something starts hurting. But something could be terribly wrong even if it's not hurting. Now they're decided to call you. They're fearful about if it's going to hurt or not. They're also fearful about the cost of what it's going to cost. Mm-hmm. But now they have decided to make that big step and call you. And now you have the first one chance to make that impression, and your front office person answers the phone. How important is that first impression, not just to convert that patient into an appointment, but also in terms of developing loyalty and your case acceptance eventually, and them referring other clients and other customers and other patients to the practice? How important do you think that is?
I think it's the number one most important thing, because typically you don't have a second chance to make a good first impression. But I'm excited about Patient Prism because you are giving them a second chance to make that good first impression.
We truly are. We've said all the time is that if you can figure out how to measure your failures fast, if you can figure out how to fail fast, then you can actually recover to a point where you can fix an opportunity that got missed right away. So our alerts, Linda, now, when I met you last year, the alerts used to go back in 2 hours. Now they go back in 45 minutes to an hour. So you had a patient call in the morning and needed an extraction, and then somehow our receptionist said, oh, maybe that's just a $150 case. Maybe I don't implicitly in the back of my mind, I think it's okay for me to book this patient or not book this patient, and then somehow the communication process gets disrupted and the patient doesn't get booked. And then you find out from our system that within 45 minutes that, hey, this guy called. By the way, this patient had looked at sedation and implants and bridges. When we call this patient back in an hour, wouldn't it be nice to say, Mr. Smith, thank you for calling our practice. We have one of the best dentists in America who does an incredible job with extractions, but also with implants and bridges. And we just want you to be our patient. And come on in. We'll give you a free set of x-rays and exam. And we want you part of our practice because we believe in serving this community.
That's true. And the neatest thing is that you have the second chance to make the first impression by calling back. Had they not been recorded, the dentist would never know.